Hello, it's Michelle. I'm here today to talk to you about the books that I plan on reading in September, like kind of plan on reading. It's a very loose TBR stack. What I might want to pick up next, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I will. For the month of September, I decided to go with silver and gold. And the reason I decided to go with silver and gold is I know this sounds kind of different, but to me, this is New Year's. Ever since I was a little girl, September's when summer's over, it's time to go back to school. I feel like it's even like that for adults. Between July and the end of August, that's when most people go on their vacations. I know, it's kind of bizarre, but that's how my brain works. So I thought it would be fun to do silver and gold, and after the month that I had last month, I decided that I'm going to just go ahead and try to do one or two books that meet the color that I'm trying to meet. I just don't feel like, with me being a mood reader, things always work out that way to where I can have every book I read be a certain color or have that color on the cover. As far as the silver and gold books go, the first book that I'm hoping on reading is The Sands of Time by Sidney Sheldon. It's got the gold up there on the top, on Sidney's name and on the rosary. I don't think I've read this book before, which is funny because I thought I had read all of Sidney Sheldon's books, or at least a really good chunk of them, but I have not read this one. This one is about four women who escape a tyrant and end up in Spain. And they're all four trying to get by and survive and create their lives there. That's all I know. I did decide to skip the Killer Reads book club pick this month. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was A Rage in Harlem. But when I started to read up on that book, it's another noir book. And I just feel like I need a break from the noir books and like the really negative take on women and stuff like that. I know that's how books were back then, but I just kind of feel like I need a break from it. So hopefully this book is not like that. The next book that I'm hoping to read is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. It's got some silver and gold on the cover. And this one is about a guy who comes home from Vietnam and decides that he doesn't want to live in the society that America is anymore. He moves his family up into the northern part of Alaska, and the family is living off the grid in a commune. It kind of sounds like The Walking Dead, but without the zombies to me. It takes place in 1971, so that will be a very interesting read if I get around to it. And that's really all I know about it, is that it just totally throws his family's life upside down, moving up there and living in this commune kind of area. And I did see on the back that it does span over decades, like most, well, we shouldn't say all or most, but like a lot of Kristen Hanna's historical fiction books do. Let me know if you've read this, or the Sidney Sheldon one, or any of these for that matter. I've been wanting to read The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt for a long time. Quite a while ago, I did a video where I tried a chapter of multiple books to decide which book to read, and I didn't end up picking this one, but this one was the runner-up. It just felt really fascinating and interesting, and I've been wanting to get back to it, but for some reason I guess I look at how long it is and just keep not getting back to it. And then I got this Gothic Chilling Ghost Stories, and then it says fantasy. I have no idea what stories are in here. Let's see. It says Henry James, M.R. James, E.F. Benson, Wilkie Collins, Washington Irving, Edith Wharton, Oscar Wilde, and so many more. But I figured between Gothic and fantasy, this might be really fascinating, and it just feels like it would be the perfect book to read at the end of September, right before the Halloween season starts. The one downfall of this book, it's a beautiful book. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? But look at how tiny the writing is. So that'll be fun. We have been having flash floods. It's now Saturday, since Friday afternoon. And when I say flash floods, I mean flash floods. Like it, all of a sudden the road is just completely flooded over. I think I have some footage, and I will throw it up here somewhere if I do, of our street yesterday. But this just keeps happening. And then within half an hour, all the water's gone, except for maybe some really deep divots in the road or something. But then before you know it, it's raining again, and things are just totally flooded over like that. So today we thought it would be fun to go out to brunch, and just as we started eating, another flash flood hit. We've been getting a lot of flash flood warnings on our phones, and so we ended up staying where we were eating for quite a while, waiting for the roads to clear up to go back out so we could get home. And being reminded of how much I don't like humidity, and I feel like I'm being reminded of why I left Florida. It's really messing with my asthma, and I've got a bunch of mosquito bites, which we don't normally have mosquitoes out here, but they're here now. It's just not really my kind of environment. For Jan Agaton's book club, I'm going to be listening to The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. And that is where humanoid creatures eat books instead of food. And reading the synopsis on the back, I think it's kind of a dystopian kind of book. If you have read that one, let me know if it is or not, or what you thought of it, if you think I'll like it. I have so many books on Book of the Month that I want to get. So many books that I have added to my wish list. And I thought, well, if I don't feel like I need any of the books that are selected for a certain month, then I can just get them then. But the last few months have had books I really wanted. Last month, the book that I really wanted was Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Canis. I'm sure you've heard about this book by now. Seems like a lot of people on YouTube are talking about it. And then for September, I really wanted to get The Stranger Upstairs. It's about a woman named Sarah who is trying to salvage her marriage and also trying to renovate a house that is said to be haunted. Now that just sounds like my kind of book in so many ways. I have to read it. And then another book that I have had on my wish list for months that I've been looking for everywhere. I've been looking for it on Libby. It's already checked out, and there's months that I have to wait to check it out. It's not on SCRIBD. I did get a Kindle. If I get it on KU, which is Kindle Unlimited, I have to pay just as much as I would if I bought the physical book. So I decided to go ahead and just get the physical book because it doesn't make sense to keep waiting for something I want to read so bad. I loved Catherine Center's last book, and I am not a romance person. So if I love a romance author, I will definitely get their books, because for me personally, this is the time of year that I feel romance is in the air. For me, the fall and the winter are the romantic times of year. I know I'm a little bit backwards, and that's okay. I know most people are spring and summer people with romance, but for me, this is it. And I'm really excited to read her next book. It's called Hello Stranger, and it says that a woman named Sadie gets in a car accident and can't recognize faces anymore. I can't remember what that's called, but it is a real thing that happens to people sometimes. And she ends up in a love triangle, which I'd love to see how she pulls this one off, because I'm not a real big believer in love triangles being possible. I kind of feel like our heart knows what it feels. And I did forget to mention one thing. I got this copy of This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. That's how much I loved The Great Gatsby. It just spoke to me. I got really attached to one of the characters in The Great Gatsby, and I'm hoping that maybe this book will feel the same way. This book, from what I read, is also about rich people deceiving each other. But that's what he wrote about, which I guess, thinking about it, during the Great Depression, people probably wanted to step outside of their lives and live some kind of fantasy life while they were reading. I'm thinking that's probably why he wrote so much about rich people or Was F. Scott Fitzgerald really rich? Maybe he didn't know what it was like to not be rich. I'm not sure. But I'm excited to read another one of his books. Be sure to stay tuned. I've got some fun things coming up on my channel, and I will be doing some vlogs so I can talk to you about what I think of these books as I'm reading them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Happy reading. Bye.